going to be talking to a really good friend of mine, although I haven't really met her in person yet. Tudo bem? How are you, man? Good to see you. We should do a live sometime. Yeah, we should do a live together. Sometimes I'm waiting for somebody else to go live with me today, but I really look forward to doing it with you at some point. Yeah, I can relate to that. I was not comfortable going live for a long time, but it's fun, once you forget about people like looking at you and watching you and criticizing you, then you just go for it, and it's not that difficult. Yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe I can practice my Portuguese with you when we do it, because I don't get to practice Portuguese much anymore, but I would love to. Quizás o podamos también hablar en español. Yeah, so I'm waiting on a friend that's supposed to have a conversation with me today, pero no sé por qué no llega. ¿Quién está aquí? Hay personas que no conozco todavía. Hace mucho tiempo que no hacía un live, casi creo que como 2 meses, más de 2 meses quizás, que no he tenido la oportunidad de hacer live. Pero me he comprado un libro de Isabel Allende, pero no lo he leído aún. Oh, qué interesante, Isabel Allende, una de mis mejores, mis autoras favoritas de los libros que leo. Ya no leo mucho en español, la verdad. Ahora leo más en inglés, pero no los he leído aún. Oh, ok. No lo he leído. Ella es muy buena esa autora. Tengo que regresar a leer más libros en español. Muchos autores muy buenos que como te digo, ya no los leo mucho, porque ahora leo más en otros idiomas. Pero, pero sí, Isabel Allende muy bueno. ¿Qué otros libros tienes que prefieres? ¿Tienes algún libro favorito? En español tengo varios autores que me gustan. No sé si conoces algunos autores de Perú. Me gustan me gusta bastante Paulo Coelho. Sus libros de Paulo Coelho en español me gustan mucho. Yo sé que él escribe en portugués y en español, bueno, y ahora los traducen en inglés, pero él me gusta mucho, de Brasil. Gabriel García Márquez, también de Colombia, creo que es él. Me gusta mucho. Pero sí, como les decía, no leo más. ¿Qué otras cosas haces para practicar español? No sé de qué podemos hablar. Libros, en verdad. Yo sé que a ti te gusta leer, porque veo siempre ah, tus reels, que son muy buenos también. Claro, sí, él es uno de mis autores favoritos. El alquimista, The Alchemist, ese es mi favorito. Sí, Gabriel García Márquez, muy bueno. Sí, te recomiendo uno, se llama Crónica de una muerte anunciada. Te lo voy a escribir para que lo tengas. Es uno de mis libros favoritos, Crónica de una muerte anunciada. No sé qué ha pasado con la persona que es supuesta... Oh, aquí está. Anunciada. Hey, Barbara. Good to see you. Let me try to get you in the live. Oh, there you go. Sí, también. Muy bueno. 100 años de soledad. Hey, Barbara.
Hello. Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. Just enjoying my afternoon here.
Yeah. Happy birthday, first of all. I know it's your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
And how are you doing?
What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's daytime here still in South America. I live in Peru. So I know you're at a different time zone, so it's probably
Yeah,
almost...
I live in Belgium, so right now it's almost 6 p.m. here.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, 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 it's almost nighttime.
Yeah,
So,
we have evening already. So.
yeah. So how was your birthday today? What did you do?
Oh, actually, I was pretty busy. I did few stuffs regarding my languages. I'm going to party later in the night. I have a dinner with my friends, so it's an activity for like late evening.
Mm.
But so far it was good.
Awesome. Awesome. Have you had a bunch of like presents and maybe some
Well,
cake?
most of the presents are coming to me via post, so I'm still waiting. But I know some of them has been sent, and probably the rest I will get during the birthday dinner. So I will see.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm sure you have like lots of friends and family members coming over
Oh,
to
my family is in Poland, so they actually called me. I live here alone, so it's only gonna be my friends. But
wow.
it's also good.
Wow. So how long have you been living in Belgium, you said, right?
I mean, in Belgium for 1 year, and before that, I used to live in the Netherlands for 2 years. So that's everything. And yeah, before that, of course, in Poland. So
Wow. So you're like a nomad. You're moving from place to
uh,
place.
yeah, kinda. I haven't decided yet where I would like to settle. So maybe somewhere in the north of Europe. But so far, I live in Belgium, and we will see where I will go next.
Wow. Wow. And so how come you're inspired to always like explore? I'm sure that's related to why you speak so many languages too.
I mean, I partly I think that I'm getting bored quickly with a country. Maybe that's why. But I went to the Netherlands to study. Then I quit my studies, and I thought nothing keeps me here, so let's go to another country. And I liked the city where I live now in Belgium, so I just moved out here. Um, and I don't know where I will go next. I would like to try Sweden or Finland because I like snow. Um, but I'm not sure. I will see. But I just like to explore, go to do different countries every few years. But I also think once in life I will have to settle because it's also difficult to change countries all the time. But so far I like it. But maybe I will settle once I'm in my 30s or something like this. We will see.
Got it. Got it. Wow. No, I think that's amazing that you're kind of like exploring, like being open to whatever, you know. I think throughout your 20s, that's what you have to do. Just be open to anything and get, you know, uncomfortable to just try new things, you know.
Yeah, I'm doing it. People always say that I'm pretty brave for doing this. I'm always saying I'm a bit crazy. That's why.
Okay.
Because I just like, oh yeah, I don't like this country anymore. Let's go. But I don't know. I just live like this. Then I'm finding a job. I do some other stuff. Right now I'm also starting with my own business. So this, if it's gonna work out, then it will be even easier to be a digital nomad. So
Yeah.
hopefully it will work out.
Yes. Yes. That's something we have. Something we have in common because that's the same thing I'm trying to do through, you know, my teaching, my coaching, and you know, it's just getting hard. Like, you know, like if I was to share with you something kind of vulnerable, would be that, you know, I'm starting to run out of ideas on what to share with people, you know, what to teach. Um,
Oh, I have the same problem sometimes. But yeah, from time to time, I'm like, what I could post about. But then I just have like a bank of ideas that are maybe not something that I would post 100% normally. But if I don't really have ideas and I want to keep posting, I'm just using ideas from this. Or I'm just asking my audience via stories, oh, hi, what would you like to see?
oh,
And then they are giving me some ideas as well.
wow.
So
That's awesome. Nice, nice. Maybe that's something I could try also.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for
because I think we might have some perception of what our audience like, but I also think why not ask them sometime. I asked, I think, around 1 week ago, and based on the answers, I already made 3 posts. So
wow.
it's always 3 posts more.
Got it.
And this way, I can also basically know what are the needs of my audience. So I also like it.
Right, right, right. No, that's excellent. I think that's something I could implement as well. And so you said, when was the first time that you decided to move out of Poland? Like, in where did
Uh,
you go?
it was in 2019.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
decided to move out because I wanted to study and I wanted to study abroad, and Netherlands seemed like a cool option.
Mhm.
So I applied to a university. I got accepted. I packed all my life into 2 suitcases and a backpack, and I moved out. I was not in a not very lucky circumstances because 1 month after I started living in the Netherlands, the COVID pandemic
Right,
started.
right,
So
right,
it was, yeah, new country. You barely know anyone. You live in a student dorm, and then you're in the middle of worldwide pandemic. Um, but yeah, I struggled a bit, but I make it through. Everything at the end went good. And yeah, my first goal was to study. And at the moment, I still don't have any university degree. It's a long story, but then when I moved out to Belgium, the decision was purely based on the fact that I thought, yeah, why not? So I
right,
just moved out.
right, right. And so before you decided to move out, were you able to speak multiple languages like you do now, or was it something
Um,
you learned
like
after?
I already was able to speak, like beside Polish, of course, English, French, and pretty good German. I started learning Dutch before I moved out to the Netherlands because I thought it would be easier to, for example, get me a job.
Mhm.
But where I was living, they had like a very weird dialect that I couldn't understand it, and it really blocked me for a few months because I was like, I have no clue what you're talking. And the percentage of people speaking English there was also people either were talking English or not at all. So that's also also why I had to try to speak Dutch and then also improve my German, because if they couldn't speak English, it was German or Dutch. So I was forced to do so. But yeah, I think when I started trying to speak Dutch and I started saying, okay, so they understand me and I understand them, it went very quickly, like a snowball. It was like, okay, it's fine. And then I was kind of like, I have on and off relation with Spanish and Korean, but Korean, I really would like to learn it in the future, but I don't feel like right now. I need more time for it, so maybe for the future. And with Spanish, I always work in a places where it's very useful to speak Spanish, but Spanish itself seems pretty difficult for me. I don't know why. I just think that I prefer, for example, Germanic languages, not necessarily the Romance one, because Italian is also really difficult for me. So it's like I would like to learn them, but they doesn't click that quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I started learning Finnish around 3 years ago, but it was very random. It was just, oh yeah, I could try Finnish, and I had no clue. I knew nothing about Finland, Finnish, nothing at all. I signed up for online classes, and here I am 3 years later, still learning Finnish.
Wow. How is it going with that
Oh,
language?
it's well, I mean, I feel like the amount of information that I need to have and to remember to speak it correctly is like huge. I have a lot of notes. I have a lot of sticky notes. I was in Finland for 1 week in August. I was really happy because I understood a lot from like uh, street signs, like descriptions of a shop. Cool. When I was supposed to speak, it didn't went that well because they speak really quickly because they have very long words. So if they want to save their time, it just, they have to speak like, and I was like, okay, I think I understood like 2 words from 6 word sentence, something like this. So it didn't went that good, but at least I understood almost everything that was written. So that was fine. But obviously, when I speak Finnish, they can hear that I'm not from Finland, so they were always switching to English, and I was suffering a bit inside. I was like, no, I want to do this. I can speak it. Please let me order in Finnish. And then they let me order in Finnish, and then I couldn't understand everything, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just actually go with English. So it was like 50-50. But I'm still really happy that I at least tried. It always gives you some kind of idea on what you can do. So it
Right,
was
right.
it was fine. At the end it was fine.
Yeah. Sounds like you created the foundation and now you're either deciding to continue
Yes,
or just, leave it.
that's true, but also when it comes to Finnish, the spoken Finnish and the Finnish that you're learning is like completely two different things. So it might also happen that they were just using the spoken Finnish way of talking with me, and I didn't really understood it because I know the textbook Finnish. That's also can be a case. But the foundation is there. It's there. It just needs to be improved.
Right, right. So what are your thoughts right now? Do you want to pursue it or you're maybe taking a
No,
break?
definitely. I would really love to be fluent in it one day. It's gonna take me still a lot of time, but I would like to be fluent. I really like the sound of language and like, I don't know, there's something in it that I like, but yeah, I'm not gonna give up only because it's a bit more difficult.
Mhm, mhm.
Then you're not gonna do anything in life if you're gonna quit only because it's getting harder. So
Right, right, right. And no, I can relate a lot to what you're saying there. And you said that you're more inclined to learn the Germanic languages over the Romance, right? And so I feel the same way. For me, I tried German for a year, and I didn't really learn much. and I don't know, it's maybe my limitation of thinking that, oh, German is not romance oriented, right? So that's why it feels a lot different. Um, but again, like you're saying now, maybe it's a block that I'm like creating myself, and maybe I should persevere and try it again, and just be, you know.
It is possible, but my teacher from Finnish language, he said to me one time that he had a student, and that student was trying to learn, it was also German, for like a long, long time. Nothing happened. He couldn't do it.
Mhm.
And then the teacher suggested him, oh, maybe you could try French or Italian. He tried both, and he learned them very quickly. So I just think it might be that maybe we have some natural predispositions to learn one language, like languages from one language family and not from the other. So in my case, I don't mind if a language has cases like German or Finnish. My native language, which is Polish, also has a lot of cases. So it might be that it just feels more natural to me than, for example, Spanish. And in your case, it might be because your native language is Spanish, that
Right.
maybe the Germanic languages are like not really for you. But I also really think like we should have a lot of fun from learning languages as long as it's our hobby. So I abandoned a lot of languages, and I think it's better to quit and to find a language that you're gonna enjoy than to try learning, like in your case, German, and struggle all the time. Like if you, I just
Yeah.
think if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. And I have languages that I used to learn them in the past, and I absolutely hated them. And when I came back to them in next years, like I gave it like 4 or 5 years, and then yeah, I love it. I can learn it. So maybe you just need to give some time to German, and then it will be fine.
Right. Right. I was thinking maybe I should just go to Germany and try to learn it on the go, right?
Oh no, I wouldn't. I was in Germany. I go there sometimes because I have friends there. Oh my God, the way they speak, like I understand, but don't understand at the same time. I really don't know. And I also think that people often say like, oh, living in a country will make you learn the language. No, if you will not want to learn this language, you will not learn it. I even can feel like it might sometimes discourage you because you're gonna try and you will see, okay, it doesn't have a lot of results, or people switch to English all the time, and then you might be like, oh, yeah, then I can just stay with English. So if you don't have a proper attitude, I think even living in Germany will not teach you English.
Really?
It
Wow.
can teach you a lot of slang, though,
Uh,
or a lot of local vocabulary. But if you don't have a proper attitude, I think you can easily go with only English over there.
right, right. That's another problem. Yeah, and I hear this from other people also. Like they are like our worst barrier is that we speak English. So when we travel, we just speak English to everyone, and everyone understands, you know, what we're talking about. So it's kind of like we take other languages for granted because, you know, we just use English all the time.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of nations, like in Europe, I would say, um, of course, depends from the cities, but I had a lot of people from Greece, Italy, and Spain, and Portugal that they either don't speak English at all, and French people as well, or they speak it very good, not at all, or like barely. And I never was in Italy or Greece or in Spain, but my friends who traveled over there, they said you need to know at least some basics, because even in the big cities, there are places where you will go and nobody's gonna say anything. My friend was in Italy and she said that they tried to communicate in English and the Italians just declined. They were just, no, 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 Italiano. So then if you don't know anything in Italiano, yeah, you can only use a Google Translator, nothing else.
Right, right, right. Yeah, there are definitely certain villages, I suppose, where, you know, it's only the native language.
But it was even in the big cities that they declined to speak
Huh.
English. They were. I remember when I was in France, in Paris, a capital, and at that time, I don't know, my brain didn't really switch. Oh, you need to speak French now. And I asked someone in a metro, like, oh, is it a good ticket in English? And he looked at me. I still remember he was so scared. And he replied like, no, no longer. So I switched to French, like, oh yeah, is it good ticket in French? And then he replied. He actually was able to talk with me. But when he heard me speaking English, he was just like frozen, like, no, I don't talk.
Oh, wow.
So I think it really depends with who are you gonna to talk. But that's also why I like to learn more languages, because then you're not only limited to your native language or to English. And
Yeah.
when you're traveling and I don't know, you go to Italy, Spain, I think it's still useful to learn even very small basics, because you never know to who you will talk. Maybe they will not speak English at all. So I just think
Right.
learning languages gives you, in general, more freedom.
Right. More freedom, more independency, and more confidence to like take control, right? Take control of the
Yes,
situation.
and I also think that you have less chances to get scammed if even if you're a tourist, because I think it's if you will be able to understand them. Like I have this feeling that if someone is a scammer and they want to scam you in English, and they hear that you can actually speak their native language, I think the chances might increase a bit that they will actually scam you.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't thought about it. That's a good observation there. Uh, Somebody's commenting here. It's saying, "Can I connect with you?" So maybe you can plug your.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to follow me, you can follow me. I'm not gonna remove you or something.
Yes, Ponce 04 Nick, right?
Nikki, Ponce, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, you can follow me or something if that's what you mean.
yeah. No, I think you're giving a lot of good observations and insights about why we learn languages. And so I'm curious, Barbara, have you come up with a strategy that you use to learn a language? Like, is there like some steps that you follow before you start learning?
Mm, well, if it's completely new language for me, like I really like to plan. So I really have like study agendas. That's also what I do right now in my side job. Like as a language coach, I also really teach a lot about um, planning, that the proper planning can save you a lot of time and bring you faster results. So I'm all about planning, but I also follow like some basics that you need to know, also like basics vocabulary that it might be a bit, maybe not shameful, but it's nice to know them, even if you're not gonna use them a lot. Like, for example, colors. Like, I can't imagine not knowing colors in a foreign language, because I don't know, it's such a basic thing for me. So I always have the basics that I'm learning. And also, if I know that I will have to use this language in a certain situations, for example, I don't know, I have a job in a restaurant. So then what I can do is to learn all the restaurant's needed phrases, like how to take an order, to explain something, to know all the menu in this language, all those kind of steps for sure. I also really like to learn by using resources that are about the things that interest me. I think that also makes learning language more exciting. But my steps are mostly like, okay, so those are the basics that I want to learn, because in my opinion, I should know them. So I'm learning the basics. Of course, I'm always starting with a present time, because I think that even if your language skills are very poor, you should be able to know the present tense, because then if you're able to, like, sometimes someone speaks to you in a present tense, but based on the context of the sentence, you're still able to understand, okay, is it gonna be about future or about past or about present? So I think present tense, like minimum you should know. And I'm not going fully into immersion immediately. I usually try to know at least some basics and then immerse myself by listening to the proper resources. Like I'm not on like A1 level and listen to podcasts for C1 because that doesn't have any sense for me.
Right.
So yeah, it mostly looks like this. I'm using only like few apps when it comes to languages, mostly for vocabulary. Right now, I'm back on Duolingo for fun only because, like, yeah, I don't know. Duolingo for me is kind of like a waste of time, but I like to do it, like, just to see how the language is from time to time. And I think that would be it. Like,
And
sometimes I'm better with planning, and sometimes I'm not that good. So it really depends on the language and on what I want to achieve, and how often I'm gonna study. So it's like a lot of factors that influence this.
right, right. So is it like you said you plan sometimes, and do you have clarity on how long you're going to take to learn a specific language? Like you say, okay, I'm going to give myself maybe 3 months or 4 months. Like, what's the longest that's taken you to learn a language, and how much time do you give yourself to accomplish it?
Mm, I think first of all, it depends if it's like, I will give you this example. When I was learning Japanese a few years ago, I gave myself maximum 2 weeks to learn hiragana and katakana. That was all. But because of how complex and different from the languages that I know Japanese is, I gave myself 6 months to be able to communicate on some basic level, because due to the learning all the alphabet, and obviously it's a different language, it's completely different than what I know. I was like, no, I think 3 months is a little bit too little. But for example, if I would have to start learning German now or Russian, I think that with learning every day or like 5 days a week, I should be able to reach pretty good level, like basic level, in around 3 months.
Okay. Okay.
So it depends on the language itself, because I don't think if I would be able to reach great level in 3 months in Chinese, for example. But in European language, probably yes.
Wow. That quick, huh? Three
Yeah,
months.
but then I would have to study like 5 days or 6 days a week.
Right.
And then probably I would be like, yeah, 3 months, fine. But obviously, if you have a job or school or something like this, it modifies everything when you have another priorities as well. But I think in my case, I can learn basic very quick. So I think then it's like around 3 months. Then I would probably hit a language learning plateau, and then it would just go slower. But it's normal, it's natural. So
Yeah, yeah. So in a way you expect it, and so you know how to, you know, push through and continue learning, even though it feels like a plateau, like you said, right?
yeah. And how long would it be for you then? What do you think?
For me, every language that I learn, I see it as something I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So I don't really have like an expectation in how much time I'm going to learn it. So yeah, so
I
like
mean, language learning, we're learning all our lives because it's evolving.
right.
But like the basics, how long do you think?
I would say a minimum it would be a year, like a whole year to
Okay.
like I mentioned to you before, to create like a solid foundation on the language, right? And Yeah, and like you said, it has to do with how you manage your time also, like because we also have other responsibilities. So, um, I see myself doing it every single day, so 7 days a week for a year, I would say.
Okay. I remember that when I was self-studying Dutch, and obviously my goal was like, in 6 months, you're going to the Netherlands, so you need to be able to speak. So it also gave me extra motivation. But I remember that after 3 months, I was already able to understand pretty much. But it might also happen that maybe the language was clicked good with me. But yeah.
Uh,
In Finnish, I'm trying to watch sometimes stuff in Finnish. Even with subtitles, it's difficult because of how many cases there is. And sometimes you have like irregular cases. And like, I'm like, I know the word, but I don't know what case is it. So that what makes also learning Finnish more difficult for me because it's so complex.
huh. What would you compare it to? Maybe
It's
German? Is it?
no, I mean, not really German. I think German is a bit different. I see a lot of similarities to Polish,
Okay.
especially in like conjugation and the cases, but there are also few things that are the same as in Turkish.
Interesting. Interesting. So
I
it's like
don't
a
know.
weird.
I don't know Hungarian. Apparently, they are kind of similar as well, but I don't know Hungarian yet, so I will not really say a lot. So far, it only looked for me the most as Polish and a bit of Turkish. Even though I don't really speak Turkish, I just know how the language is created.
Wow. Wow. So do you have a goal on how many languages you want to be able to speak?
I think
Do you want to
minimum 15.
15?
Yeah, but my language teacher, he can speak 26 and even more because he's also busy with like smaller languages that you can't really have certificate or dead languages or fictional languages.
Uh,
So I think he speaks around 40. But my goal is like 15 and then I will probably go higher anyway.
so it's never ending, right? You can just like
I mean,
spend.
I have my whole life for it, so I'm ready to dedicate it to learning languages.
Right,
Even if
right.
I would study next year, it's gonna be around about languages anyway. So
So this truly is your passion then. You really
yeah,
want to. Yeah.
it's like this solid one thing that has been in my life for like many years,
Uh-huh.
and like yeah, sometimes I have like any different interest or the thing that gonna get my attention, but still I'm always gonna came back to languages. So,
Wow. Wow. Yeah, you know what they say though, like it's something along the lines of when you try to like juggle way too many balls, you can't really be able to have total control of maybe just a few.
yeah, we have like a similar saying in Polish language, but then
Right,
you would translate it like you can't try to catch too many
right,
birds in one
right,
time, something like
right,
this.
right. Yeah, there is something similar in Spanish, but you know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yes, I know that
What
if you take too much stuff on yourself, you will not succeed in anything.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
because
So
your focus gonna be divided into all those things, so that's normal.
right, right. So what's your take on that? What do you think about that?
Oh, I used to take too many things on myself for many years. Once I quit, I actually start feeling that I'm making progress in the ones that I focused on. So I definitely think that, yeah, we should be able to have priorities and to choose what we are want to do and what we want to focus on.
Yeah,
And yeah, I definitely agree with this. And I think those sayings exist for a reason.
reason. Yeah, and I just remember the one in English is jack of all trades, master of none. And
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, there is something like this.
yeah. And so, what would be those main ones for you if you were to decide like, okay, this is what I'm gonna be teaching people. Like this is the language I'm gonna be teaching people. Maybe the one language or the two languages that you would do that with.
Well, once I'm fluent, I would really like to teach people Finnish, but it's like a goal for a few
Uh-huh.
years. And besides that, I think I also would be able to teach Polish.
Yeah.
So far, that would be those two. But my plans for the future are generally languages related. I have some plans. So I will see. So far, my answer were Polish and Finnish. I also used to tutor English, so I think I'm also capable of this.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was like 4 years ago. But I think I would be still capable of helping people with English as well.
Got it. So you have lots of possibilities that you might pursue.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything is languages related,
Uh-huh.
but I like to have open options.
Right, right. So what are you working on these days? And you said you're in Belgium. They speak French there, right?
Where I live, we speak Dutch. But I don't live very far. I mean, Belgium is small, so I don't live very far from the French speaking part of Belgium. So it looks like this that where I live now, they speak Dutch like daily, but most of the people also can speak French. Then if you will go to Brussels, theoretically, it's both Dutch and French. In practice,
Mhm.
most people just speak French there, and they don't really know Dutch. And then if you will go to the French part, they sometimes don't even know English there, just
Oh,
French.
really?
So, and there is also like a really small part of Belgium that German is spoken.
Mhm.
So sometimes German people come here and think that everyone speaks German as well. It's not necessarily true, because officially it is a third language of Belgium, so it's Dutch, French, and German. But in practice, I would say it's not that common to know German.
So they speak multiple languages there. So there's a German side, French side, and a Dutch side.
That most of the people also speak English. Also, pretty much, a lot of people speak Spanish as well. But it might be because there's a lot of Spanish tourists,
Mhm.
so it's really useful. Like if you work in services, in restaurant, shop, doesn't really matter where, it's useful to know Spanish as well.
What has been your experience with the Spanish? Like, are you able to, I don't know, like hold a conversation at least a little
Not
bit?
Not really. I mean, I was able to take an order in Spanish and like have some very small talk.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be really able to understand like, or maybe I will say this. I would probably be able to understand more than I will be able to answer. So it's like this. For some people, it's already enough that they don't have to switch to English. They can just speak Spanish and someone at least knows what they're talking about.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think I would be like this so far.
But you never really like studied and decided to
I
really learn it.
tried, I tried, but I don't know. It was difficult for me.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know why. Because I spent my whole childhood and like teenage years listening how Spanish is so easy. The same with Italian. But once I tried to learn it, they are both difficult for me. And I will probably learn them one day in the future, but at the moment, I don't know. They're just difficult for me. My brain likes the weird languages, the
Yeah.
weirder or the more like crazy, like Finnish, or I would also like to know Icelandic or Hungarian, the better. But when you have the useful, easy ones, like
Huh.
easy, they're not always easy for everyone. I just can't. Italian, no, I wasn't even able to learn the basics correctly. I don't know why, it just doesn't stick to my head.
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say because you're into the languages that not many people is interested in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I also like the Germanic languages. So, and I think also because I'm Polish, the Slovak languages are also pretty easy for me.
Yeah. And you said you've been messing with Asian languages, right? You mentioned one.
Yeah, I mean, I used to learn. I have like on and off going
Korean, you
journey with
said.
Korean.
Yeah,
But I also tried Chinese and Japanese. I think from those three, I would definitely try again with Chinese and Korean.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Japanese is not really for me. So
What would you say that? What's so difficult about
I don't know.
Japanese?
Like I think um, the fact I didn't really like the fact that the kanji can be read completely differently, depends on the word or on the phrase or many other aspects. That was very disturbing for me. Plus, I don't really think that I felt the language a lot. Like, I don't really have a lot of interest in Japan as well.
Hmm.
So that might be this.
Okay. So you need to connect with the language basically before you can really commit to
I
learn it.
I need to feel it at least like partly. If I don't feel it, I will not really like to continue.
Got it. That's good advice. Actually, that's how I go about deciding which language I'm gonna stick with. And and if I
Yeah, I
don't if I
always
don't
give
enjoy
this
it,
give this advice to people as well. Like, if you don't know which language to choose, just maybe try all of them and see which one are you actually feeling. Like, oh
right,
yeah,
right.
that's a good language. I can study this, because then it will be also easier for you to stay committed.
Exactly. So be open to just try the language out for a week and see
Yeah,
how it goes.
and experiment. So
Experiment. Exactly, exactly. No, this is good advice, Barbara. Um, so what's keeping you excited these days besides your birthday today and languages? You know.
well, I'm looking for a new job, so that's what keeps me busy.
Mhm.
What keeps me excited is that more people is reaching to me to ask for a collaboration with me, like, one-to-one sessions of coaching or some languages classes. So I'm happy that people have enough trust in me to reach me. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm also really excited because I have a very strong feeling that this month gonna be really good for me. So I'm just like, can't wait what's gonna happen. And I think that's all right now.
What do
I'm
they
just living every day, something's new happening. It's all cool.
what what do you tell your clients or the people that reach out to you when they ask you, hey, how long is it going to take me to learn this language? What do you
Well,
say to them?
I'm saying that depends what do you want. Like, if you want to learn the basics, then I still think it's pretty individual process, but for me,
Mhm.
it would be like around 3 months. But I'm
Mhm.
always saying that learning a language is never-ending story.
Yes,
So you will
yes,
never stop learning. Even once you're fluent, there always might be a word that you don't know, and then you
right.
will have to keep learning.
Even in Polish, right? For you,
I,
you'll probably
I
be.
don't I think that if I would have to read some chemistry or medicine related words in Polish, I would have no clue what it is. Like,
Yeah.
probably no. I would need some explanation as well.
Right, right. No, that's a great mindset to have when learning, not just languages. I think that anything you reach a level and then you're also looking for the next level up, and
I mean, I just think that we as human, we should aspire to keep evolving, because
yeah,
when you're evolving, like, this is the only way to live. I wouldn't really like to feel stuck in one level on one place. I think that's boring. So that's my opinion.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree 100%. We love novelty, right? We love to know what's new, and we aspire to always, like you said, evolve and be better, hopefully, because otherwise we would be like, kind of conformist, right? And I think I heard once this guy tell me that if I'm not growing as a person, then I'm doing the opposite, which is dying. So
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I agree as well. I think also if you're not growing, I don't know, it's a bit sad life for me.
You think?
I think it might be a bit sad life. Like, yeah, that would be sad life for me.
Right, right, right. And yeah, I think even as all people, someday we, like, if we really cultivate our passions, like I see you do, then we would be like happy people, even at that age. Um, and so that's why it's important to, I think, find out the things that excite us and make us happy now, which I think we've kind of found already. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
we're on the good track.
Yeah.
So I want to be respectful of your time, Barbara. Thank you so much for meeting up with me today.
Sure, thank you for invitation.
Yeah, hopefully we'll connect again at some point.
Yes,
And
sure, maybe next time you can join my live.
of course, just let me
Yeah,
know when
we
you're
will be
like
in touch.
inviting me over. Yeah, yeah, maybe yeah, Dutch. I would never even try Dutch because that would be like really, way out of my comfort zone. But you never know, right? You never know.
You never know. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. Have a great day,
Thank you and
and
happy birthday.
thank you for having me.
Yes, happy birthday and have fun with your friends tonight.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.